Okay, I'll be honest here. Sometimes I feel like these lab rats just pressing on levers in order to get some cocaine. What I mean by that is that whenever I have a strong emotion that I don't like, I'm almost immediately grabbing to that lever that I call the phone to feel better. And that just gets me hooked onto it. Just spend 2 hours not noticing how much time I actually spent there. And today I want to talk to you about that. The emotions. How we can stop being that lab rat and actually take control over it and find better coping mechanisms than the phone. Why is that so important for dealing with social media or phone addiction? It's a very good question, and I think it comes down to that all of our behaviors are triggered by some sort of emotion that we have within ourselves. And whether we need to go to the toilet, whether we want to speak to someone or not, all of that is usually triggered by an emotion that we feel drawn to or pulled away or pushed away from. And the same way as also with this behavior, that there's something that makes us really attracted to this. And I think in the context of the phone, it becomes really easy because it is this stimulation, this novelty. There's an emotion that is really awesome. I love it. My trigger for a lot of behaviors is curiosity. I want to learn. I want to get excited about things. And luckily, the internet is full of those things. When all of that is packaged into this neat little box of a phone, then I have it all the time with me, and I can put everything on it that I want. Clearly, I'm very interested and intrigued by it because I'm curious. I want to learn about this. So it creates a positive pull towards this. On the other side, when I feel bored, the quickest thing is I search for something I can do. Sometimes it's cleaning up, sometimes it's the phone, sometimes it can be the iPad, the computer, whatever is laying around, it is starting to get intriguing. And so the quickest and easiest and quite often most gratifying in the moment thing is, for me, the phone. And so it might be the same for you as well. Probably that's why here. Another thing could be that connected with ADHD. My girlfriend, whenever she has a hard task to do, whenever there's something difficult for me as well, when there's like a major task, record this whole video. It's like, oh, there's so much that flows into that, and I need to figure out how to arrange this and to record. And all of this is connected to making one video. It feels huge. So that feels a bit daunting, a bit like, oh, a bit scary maybe. There's a lot of emotions in there. And if I have the choice between, this daunting emotion, it's very easy to me like, let's see what's new. And email a message? Oh, YouTube? Wow, that is intriguing. So just to illustrate very simply that we're quite often pushed and pulled by emotions. That's why this is such an important topic when you are trying to change your behavior around your phone. Okay, but how do you do that? How do you do that? We've figured now, why this is important and what's happening within us, but how do you actually do that? That becomes now the main part of today's part of the series about emotions. How do we actually deal with emotions and use it for our advantage? Because those emotions are usually made to help us. Our biology is built based on those emotions because nature thought they were useful. That's why we have them. That we feel attracted to someone is clearly so we can continue with the species. If we have this emotion and the pressure maybe that we need to go pee, we do that. And then that we're afraid of speaking up and standing in front of a crowd makes also sense because we fear to maybe disappointing other people or to be judged, which in turn leads us to be maybe exiled from the community. So it all makes sense in a way that we have those emotions. And boredom is a really good one too, because if we feel bored, we sort of get active and try to solve something. So when there was no phone and you were just out maybe in nature or living in a little community, boredom was amazing because it got you to, oh wait, maybe I can fix this house, maybe you can fix the pipe there, maybe you can you figure out something or learn something, but how does this actually work? And you get curious. to learn and to improve. Amazing skill, amazing thing. Now, in today's society, a lot of scientists, a lot of people know that about our nature, human nature, our animal nature. And they use it for maximizing some sort of gains. And quite often in today's society, it's money. And our attention, our focus, our availability is one of the most important thing that is there right now. And then a guy figured, maybe I can make money with people's attention. And that's where a lot of our economies circle around. So wherever you are, some emotion is trying to be triggered, so you do a certain behavior. In this case, it is clearly to just stay on the platform, stay on there, spend more time. So everything that is novel, that is intriguing, that is intense, that is painful, that is sexual, that is dangerous, all of these things are being shown, usually in an extreme manner, so you are incited to have a lot of emotions, because emotions are getting us to stay there because it's really intense and keeps us away from any boredom or anything that's coming up. So that's what's sort of happening in our minds when we are hooked on those devices. So now let's switch to what we can do. And the first thing, the very first and probably most important thing, is to figure that this is happening. Because sometimes we just use the phone and 2 hours later it's like, what have I done? Why? How could this happen? And you don't even notice that it was so long. And only afterwards you gain consciousness and awareness again. Oh, that's what was happening. And so that moment we try to instill now more throughout the whole time, that you're being more aware earlier, quicker about what's actually happening. And you can maybe intervene quicker with those tools that I'll be sharing. All right. So as a basic structure, as a basic principle, learn how to navigate those emotions without the phone, because now the phone is the coping mechanism that we all have in order to deal with those emotions, because they might feel very unpleasant, and that is the quickest way to solve that for us right now. And so what are other ways that are also useful and are not as addictive as this one? Maybe that's what I want to share with you now. So as I said, I'm trying to find a new way of coping with unpleasant emotions. And one that is probably the most universal one that has also helped me the most is using the breath. So what's happening? Why is that such an amazing tool? Maybe you've heard that before and you're like, yeah, I mean, it sounds simple, sounds stupid, but why? Why is it so important? And what exactly am I supposed to do with my breath? So the idea with using your breath to deal with emotions is very simple. So there are a couple of things in there. One is, for example, that you're focusing on something that is not the phone. So you need to focus on something already. That's the first amazing thing. When you have an emotion, you focus on something, which maybe you notice with children, it's usually already easier, or is a lot easier than with adults, but it still works when they're crying or something is going on and you just point at something. Have you seen that bird? And then they turn around and look at it and there was nothing, and then they almost already forgot what was actually happening. And so just moving your attention towards something else other than that emotion is already a very helpful thing. And since we have the breath with us all the time, it's happening all the time, it's a very great tool to start with. And then when we go a little deeper, is quite often these emotions are intense. It's creating a little reaction in us that is not as intense as like a fight-flight reflex, but it's still in that direction. It's still uncomfortable. We want to escape and we want to go away from that. And so it's a similar reaction, at least biochemically. It's activating the sympathetic nervous system. And what we want to do is activate the parasympathetic nervous system to digest and rest. And how we do that with the breath is to breathe in deeply into the belly. So when we breathe in and take a deep breath and let the belly expand while we do that, you can do that right now. You could feel probably immediate effects. When we do that, breathe deeply into the belly, we relax. There's a nerve below the diaphragm that gets activated and signals the brain, hey, you can relax now. Because no one that is really scared or in danger is breathing deeply into the belly. You might notice that actually throughout the whole day, you're breathing mostly in the chest. And what that is like a short, shallow breath that doesn't get even to give you all the oxygen that you need. Because if you breathe slow and relaxed and deep, that's the best breathing you can have, and immediately has relaxing and winding down effects on you. And also the emotion will be then calmer and more manageable. So that's the idea. And to go even a step further, to manage it even better and maybe even go deeper into the relaxation, you can have a certain amount of time that you breathe in, maybe even hold the breath and breathe out. What that does is you have to sort of count also the numbers. Again, more focus on the numbers rather than emotion. Amazing. And at the same time, you might even slow down your breath even further, which is also amazing. I like to use and I recommend to everybody the 4-7-8 breath. You breathe in for 4 seconds, you hold the breath for 7, and you breathe out for 8 seconds. In general, if you breathe out longer than you inhale, that's a great thing. For relaxation, let's say. Okay, let's do that briefly and see what it does. I usually recommend to do maybe 4 rounds of that, but we can just do 2 right now so you get the hang of it and understand and know what's happening. So for now, just breathe in twice deeply into the belly. Relax already, let your shoulders drop. And breathe out slowly. You can do that through the nose or through the mouth. Breathe in deeply again. And breathe out. And now breathe in for 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold for 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And out for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. If you can, feel like, close your eyes. Breathe in again for 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold your breath for 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And out for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let your breath continue normally. Breathe into the belly. Notice how change you might feel already. You notice already my pace of speaking, I also calm down and relax. And so that is a wonderful tool to do anytime, also before sleeping, just to wind down the body and prepare for sleep. All right, so this is a wonderful tool you can use any time. All right, so the next tool is movement. What I mean by that is that when we have an emotion, and usually or especially when they're stronger, it's hard to just, okay, now I breathe and wind everything down. When I'm like really frustrated or angry or sad or whatever intense emotion you have, it's hard to just, okay, now I would wind down, calm down and relax. It's all good, blah. It's sometimes difficult. And so another great way is movement or sports or some sort of physical activity. And it can be many, many different things. I want to share some that work for me and that you can replicate almost everywhere. 2 very simple ones. One is doing push-ups until you can't. So right before you would drop down to the floor because you can't hold it anymore, that's until you should do that. Not advising to face plant and put your face on the floor, but just really until exhaustion, until you can't push yourself up anymore. That's the idea. Because what happens with that you exert all your strength, all your power, and all the sympathetic nervous system gets really activated. And then towards the end, when you really exhausted yourself, your body naturally calms down and winds down, because that's just what the body does. After you exerted yourself really intensely, it naturally winds down. After you did some intense sport or run, your body immediately goes into a relaxation state to recover all that energy. So we can artificially create that in order to get over that emotion. Another one that I like as well, which is quite intense and really relieving, is standing in a horse stance. That means a bit wider than a squat position, and then adds 90 degrees your knees are holding there. And I do that for about 2 minutes, then my legs get super shaky and it's really painful. That's when I stop. For you, it might be early already, but at least try a minute or a minute and a half, because only when we go further than we thought we can, it's actually really, really helpful and relieving. And so these are two really amazing things that you can use almost anywhere. It takes 2 minutes and is really amazing. Another one, if you have outdoors available, then you can also go for a sprint. Not a nice jog, but like a sprint. Obviously, maybe warm up just briefly before, but go for a sprint so you could really raise the heart. You really let go of all the air in your chest and you can just fully exert yourself. With that, you calm your body down again right afterwards. The emotion can go by. And instead of grabbing the phone and then being brain dumb and being numb, you have been able to find another coping mechanism that is very useful. And back at my parents' house, I also love to use chopping the wood as an amazing tool. Like with an axe, just cutting the wood is amazing to release any energy that I want to let go of. So that is, let's say, the basics of emotions, some basic tools. And this could be very, very, very helpful and very useful if the emotions get too strong, you don't know how to deal with them. Sometimes it can also be helpful to just talk it through with another person. Hey, I'm feeling this right now, blah, blah, blah. Just let them flow out, the emotions. But the main part is notice the emotion, notice that's happening, and try not to escape it. So there's a bunch of awareness needed, a bunch of noticing of your states. That is a little bit the precondition. But once you notice what emotion usually triggers you and gets you to use your phone, that is the one you try to create a new coping mechanism for. And so if you can do that, I can guarantee you that you use your phone less often because those triggers are not happening anymore, and you will be generally more balanced. And when you're more balanced, you actually notice that your mind gets numb and your mind gets not focused whenever you use the phone, and you actually want to focus on the things that bring you lasting joy, beautiful connections with loved ones, and maybe working on something meaningful. Taking time for yourself, spending time outside of nature or with animals is amazing too. So that will be happening as soon as you find new coping mechanisms. All right, so in the next session, the next part of the series, we'll talk about, if you implemented all of these steps, how to look in the future. How can you maintain those things, and how can you make sure that this won't be a problem in the long run? So that's what we're going to do in the next one. And until then, there's again the Inside Timer course that I have put on Inside Timer, the Mindful Tech course on how to stop your phone addiction. There goes a lot more into depth and understanding what emotions are being triggered and how you can mitigate them with a lot more mindfulness exercises in there. The link is in the description. And if you want to dive even deeper or have tried all of these things already, I'm really, really happy to talk to you face to face or virtual camera to virtual camera and dive a bit deeper into this and find the solution that fits for you. So let me know about that. Other than that, I wish you a wonderful day and hope that you can just maybe now wind down, turn off your devices and take a moment, a minute, 5 minutes, no, without, maybe make a tea and wind down. Thank you so much and good luck. See you next time.